Okay, so I guess I was gonna talk about, or at least in this video, just kind of talk about something I've been noticing lately with the Kingdom Hearts community, Kingdom Hearts fandom, especially since the release of KH3 came out. Now, it seems like a lot of people still like it. Like, a lot of people, have been thoroughly and excited for the game. I know it's something we've been waiting for quite a long time. But one of the other things I've seemed to notice that, like, at least there's like a not a large portion, but it seems like there's like a decent portion of people who just like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 is horrible, or it wasn't a great game, or we were, blah 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 blah. And I guess like just seeing that and seeing just other reviews, I guess I just wanted to make a video about that, to sort of get my views, at least what I thought about the game. So my own review. Mostly in depth, I guess, about that. Now, in terms of Kingdom Hearts 3, like, is it an absolutely horrible game? Absolutely not. Like, it's not a bad game. Does it have flaws? And, there could be things that can be improved on? Completely. Like, I mean, no, this isn't, the next God of War. It's not, the next, Anthem or Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, it's a Kingdom Hearts game. That's basically what we got. We got a Kingdom Hearts game that was very nicely polished, something that still answered questions that we were, hoping to get some sort of resolution for. Did we kind of get more answers completely? I think earlier today there was a article that was announced. I think Nomura was talking about future updates for Kingdom Hearts 3, like different DLC plans. So most likely we're going to probably get like pretty much the quote-unquote final mix, I guess, of the DLC. So that's probably going to be sometime later this year. We don't really know much information about that. We'll probably get more information later. But there's something, there's always a game. There's like never really been a game that's 100% perfect. I can't even think at the top of my head 100% game that's been perfect. But this isn't an abysmal game. Like, it's actually still a fairly good game that's enjoyable. The only downside or things that during my time of playing it that I think a lot of people have sort of addressed and seem to agree on, was that it kind of felt a little bit too easy, even on proud mode. Like, even if you put restrictions on, it's very hard to die in the game. Like, I don't want to be stuck in a game where it's like, you die over and over and over again. I'm looking at you, Riku fight scene from Kingdom Hearts 1, but, you want some sort of challenge. Like, you want to actually, like, have it a chance where, you can continue on, but, like, if you die, okay, that's understandable. But here it's like I probably can count on like maybe one hand by the time I actually died in the game. In fact, I think I was probably on maybe like the second realm of planets or worlds by the time I actually like died, and that's not even including the Koopa coin. And I think in regards to that, why it's sort of easy is because the way they designed the game, the whole gameplay with even Donald actually healing you, this was actually something I tested out. He tends to heal you more, even if you don't like alter his AI settings. He actually tends to heal you more if you are dying and you're nearby. Like if you're like next to him, he actually will heal you. That's actually something, I don't know if they just changed with his code in, but like I didn't even like adjust any of the AI settings. Like I didn't even go to like the menu for that. Like he just automatically seems to heal you when Sora was low and if you're near him in a boss battle, and he's not dead. I think what also makes it easier is just like I said, with the gameplay, the attraction flow, you have a lot of not invincibility or like sort of like frames where they can't hit you. And that's something that I've noticed that is a little bit new in the games. They have some of the finishers where you don't really take damage. It seems like even when you level up your Keyblade, or even if you don't level up your Keyblade, I feel like a lot of the, special options, like the links, the attraction flow, all these, the team attacks, like, it just makes you more, in terms of frame rate, more invincible, where you don't really get hit as often. And, like, it's just like with that, you don't want to constantly die, because that can get frustrating, but you just want that type of challenge. And I think that's what some people kind of were complaining about. I've also noticed that the people who were complaining about it, who, like, everyone's entitled to the opinion. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying, like, okay, the people who hate the game, like, oh, you guys are idiots. I'm not saying that. Like, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game. That's, that's your opinion. There are probably games that are really popular that I absolutely hate. But most of the games I usually I buy because I want to play them. But, people who, might be disappointed with Kingdom Hearts, I've noticed that some of the people who are disappointed, may have not also played all the games. So they're going in, or they were on like the hype train, or all this other stuff, like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm really excited, yes! And, they get into it, and they're just like, what's going on? And to them, I guess they might feel disappointed because they have no clue. Like, the story that's being explained to them is confusing because they have no idea what is going on. And even as, someone who's been playing the game since, day one, who's been playing since, Kingdom Hearts 1 came out back in 2002, it, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, like, even we understand, yes, this story can be convoluted, but, it's something we understand. Like, we went in knowing this was going to be a Kingdom Hearts game. We went in knowing that, it wasn't going to most likely answer all the questions, because Nomura has constantly stated, well, yes, this is the end of the Xehanort saga, or the Darkseeker saga, this is not the end of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. So obviously they still have to answer questions that was brought up during the Xehanort saga, but also, need to raise more questions to be answered on in the later titles or later DLC, if that does get addressed in the DLC instead. So, that's also one of the reasons, just story-wise, people might got a little bit confused about that, and, may have not been able to play some of the, previous titles. But not for lack of trying. Square Enix is trying to make it so people, who before they play Kingdom Hearts 3, they are able to gain access, especially if you have a PS4. So if you haven't, most likely they had the story so far, which was pretty much a collection released a couple months before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, that has every single Kingdom Hearts game mentioned. So if you've gotten that and you went through the story so far, you should be good by the time you played Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, there's not really much else I can really complain about the game. I mean, during playing it, I was very excited for it. Some of the stuff that I was hoping to get answered, I got answered. Some of the stuff that, brought up more questions, I'm just kind of like, huh? But, I'll see what Nomura does. He's kind of taken what I like to call the Nintendo approach. I mean, it's sometimes an issue when you take too long on the game, in which case, you have Final Fantasy 15, but sometimes what I call the Nintendo approach is, okay, if you're gonna do a game and you delay it, they always say sometimes a delayed game better than a rush game, and you want to make sure everything's okay. And I think that's what Nomura was trying to do with Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, he knows we waited for a very long time. He gets that. And he wants to make sure he's providing us the best game he possibly can. Like, he wants to make sure that is something, he wants us to experience his story, because this is pretty much his he's brought this thing to life. Like, there's other people who has had input, like Shinji Hashimoto, and the rest of the Saka team, the rest of Square Enix that works on the Kingdom Hearts game. But like, this has pretty much been most of Nomura's vision. Like, he's the man behind the Kingdom Hearts story, at least up to this point, and he wants to tell that story, so he doesn't want to rush. Like, with the incident with 15, all of that, just, we could see how 15 turned out, but with Kingdom Hearts 3, he doesn't want that to be the next 15, so, it's just, the way, just story-wise, he wants to take his time about that. So there's a lot of questions to be answered. Most of them was answered or addressed in the game, thankfully. And just graphic-wise, like for me, I think probably the best part of Kingdom Hearts 3 was the graphics. Like, I know some people were complaining with the full CGI, like, where, it looks like really, really high definition. Like, you can see, like 3 colors in Sora's eyes. Like, it's not just blue. It's just like a hint of blue, maybe a little bit of green, and, some orange from sunsets or whatever, So, I mean, that still looks cool. Like, I mean, from what we got from Kingdom Hearts 2 to what we got now, like, Unreal Engine's an amazing, game development, program. So seeing Kingdom Hearts 3 in that, and having to deal with, what you see back in, like, technically, through the Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 2, and we got a little taste of that in 0.2, but, the finished product, or the finished polishing of Kingdom Hearts 3 looks really nice, so I definitely do like about that. But I just, like I said, I just kind of wanted to make this video. I'm not quite sure why people were really complaining about Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not a terrible game. I've played worse games. I've played some absolutely garbage games, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is not a garbage game. It's just a game that, like every other game, it is just it's just a Kingdom Hearts game. It's a Kingdom Hearts game that we went in knowing expectations. It wasn't horrible. It has flaws. There are some things that can be improved on, which Nomura, I'm pretty sure, knows, and I'm pretty sure he's going to make adjustments for that, for any sort of updates or DLCs that he plans to release in the future. Whether it's free or paid, we don't know. But he definitely is going to most likely address those issues to try to make it a better game. I doubt that they're going to re-release a final mix. It's most likely just going to be add-ons like DLCs to better improve. I honestly doubt if we'll have an online version. I don't think he's interested in any online stuff. But it is what it is. I still think Kingdom Hearts still does deserve the grades they got, the scores they got. It is a good game. Like, it was a fun, entertaining game. It can always be improved. My only, like I said, my only thing was that it wasn't hard enough. Everything else was perfectly fine. Music was on point. Some of the jokes were great. The characters, all the scenes, especially towards the later part of the game. I guess one other thing to add to that is maybe pacing. Some of the Disney worlds were kind of awkward. I'm looking at you, Frozen. I'm looking at you, Tangled. Some of them were a little bit awkward. So pacing-wise, maybe could also be a little bit. But, I didn't really have a problem with it. Like, it was so-so. It didn't really bother me. It's just some of the scenes were just a little bit awkward if you've never seen the movies. But other than that, just I guess pacing, a little bit of pacing in the first half of the game. And, just making more challenging of the game, is really the only two factors. But, other than that, like, attraction flow was really fun. I mean, especially if I'm in a pickle, I'm just like, oh, let me just, do the blasters, and let me, do the carousel. Like, it's still kind of fun to do. Like, it changes it up, and that's why I never really got tired to me. Like, I can do different things, different attacks, different team attacks, and that's what still made it fresh, even though I kept going into the different worlds. So, just outfits, just everything. I didn't hate the game. I thought it was pretty good. But just pacing, could just make sure to, I guess, they need to work on pacing, I guess, next game. And hopefully, whatever critical mode or whatever extra harder mode or, merciless mode or anything that Nomura is going to add, hopefully, that gets addressed as well, which most likely he's going to do. But we'll see. But yeah, that was just kind of like a 2 cents on that. I don't think it's a horrible game. I think it's fine. I'm excited. I mean, we're lucky to even get Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, imagine some of the other series people are still waiting on their games. And I'm glad that, it wasn't like horribly delayed, so, I guess we'll wait till the next game. We'll wait till more updates. But yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for viewing. See you next time.